Community Hotline is made possible with generous support by the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission. The Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission advocates on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels.
Hi, and welcome back to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel at MetroEast Community Media, and we're going to close out tonight's show talking with Aaron Sando, who is a homeless services specialist for the city of Gresham. It's great to have you here, Aaron.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
It's a pleasure. Now, you are fairly new to working with the city of Gresham, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and you are the homeless services specialist. Did they have one before you came on?
Yes, a fellow named Newton Borway.
Okay, so there was one. I didn't know that there was such a position until I went recently to the State of the City address by the mayor for the city of Gresham, and he was talking about the Clean Start program, which is one of the programs that you're in charge of. Is that right? I would love to hear, first of all, about what a homeless services specialist does. What all does that encompass? And then I'd really like to hear more, especially about the Clean Start program. Can you tell me first about what your job entails? Okay,
well, thank you. Before, like you said, this position was never in existence. So they created this not too long ago.
Okay.
And Newton Borway came in and worked for a few months, but then had to move back to Utah.
Oh, okay. So it is a fairly new position.
Yeah, it's very, very new.
Yeah, okay.
So I came in, like I said, December, and it's been great. I think the city as a whole, everyone really liked the creation of this window for someone to really cater to the homeless folks, because day in, day out, Monday through Friday, that's my responsibility. Like, I get calls from everywhere. You know, hey, I'm here, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? And so, of late, the city has come up with a funding that help these folks to get driver's licenses, state ID cards, or even a birth certificate.
They do have funding for that?
Yes,
oh,
and
wow.
I'm in charge of that. I help folks. So I have a van that I can transport them if necessary to go to like the nearest DMV. So again, folks are just happy, you know, these homeless folks.
Well, yeah, I mean, just getting ID is really important, because whether or not we're talking about getting a job or just getting a place to live or just getting any kind of services, you need some ID, right?
True,
I mean, it's almost impossible to get anything without having at least one piece of ID. Yeah, so that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So, how do people know about you? How do the homeless community know to contact you?
Oh, but they already know. Like when I took
is it word of mouth?
When I took over, I was getting calls from everywhere.
Wow.
And I think that publicity came in. The guy before me, my predecessor, Newton Borway, he was very, he started this program. He was the first to occupy the position as a homeless services specialist. So in fact, when I took over from him, I kept everything. The phone number is the same.
Oh, okay.
And so I'll have, in fact, for that first couple of weeks, people say, hey, is this Newton? I said, no.
You don't sound like Newton.
No, this is Aaron. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm taking over from Newton. And also I will kind of help people transition better.
Yeah.
And it's been very, very good. So as far as awareness, they already knew. I would get calls. People would say, hey, I'm from here. I'm calling for Newton Borway. I say, oh, he's in Utah, but hey, how can I help you? And
that's great. So you don't really have to do all that much outreach. It's already been done for you ahead of time.
Most of it was already done.
Yeah. Is there anything new that you have done since you've been there, or are you pretty much at this point just kind of taking over what he did before and running with it?
Well, I have expanded it a little bit. Like, I meet with community partners. There's a gentleman that I met with. He does youth outreach, like helping the youth, kids. And I visited with him. He's in Poland here too, not far from the border there with Gresham. I guess Gresham, Poland.
Like the Rockwood area.
Exactly. Kinda? Yeah. He's in the Rockwood. Yeah, very well.
New Avenues. Was he from New Avenues or one of those?
It's just off of almost at the intersection of Stark and 162nd.
I was going to say, like the Rosewood Initiative or New Avenues for Youth? Or?
Yeah, something like that. Because some of those youths, he said, they don't have any organizational skills. They help them prepare things like, if you wanted to go to a job, if you wanted to do this, just prepping them up, giving them some tools that they can work with.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy. In fact, we talked about in the future we will both hang out, and I will take him with me in my field of work, so he sees some of the things.
Having community partners that are good is really key. It's not Mustafa, is it? Mustafa? No? Okay. Because I interviewed him on here not very long ago.
No, it's not Mustafa.
Okay.
No.
But there are some really great community partners. So do you refer people? I mean, if people are, say, they're newly homeless, are you able to refer them to, say, to the Human Solutions Family Shelter or other organizations that can help them?
Yes, very well. So yes. In fact, every day, so for example, I will get someone called, hey Aaron, I'm homeless. I've been homeless for 4 months, 5 months or whatever. And so we work with other partners like Join, Join. So
for
again,
housing,
that's housing, yeah. So usually I'll refer people there. I will, ask them a few questions like how long you been, where are you now? Are you in a tent? Are you? And some people say I'm in my car. And so we would refer them to Join. And it's even more urgent when these people are 55 and above. They call the aging services out there for people,
Right.
So
they're more vulnerable to the elements being outside and.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's tough. How about you mentioned working with somebody who works with the youth in the area. Do you have any contact or work with the Second Home organization or the Second Home Project that's part of the city? Are you familiar with that?
No.
Because I know that's. I'm not sure if that's still going on or not, but I know that there's been a lot of concern about the youth in the area.
Right.
But the thing is, you don't see them as much here as you do in Portland. The homeless youth, but they're there. They're there. So, tell me, if somebody does want to, get out of that situation, they would like to, get back on their feet and get a job. What kinds of things can you offer? Is the Clean Start program I heard about? Is that something that can help people sort of get out of that situation? Yeah,
I have not been focusing on because they when I talk over, they say, hey, we got a population of people that are. From the beginning, they would come to the city council meetings, say, hey, we are this, we are. So when I talk over, they say, we want to help these folks by empowering them to get get a job, get apartments, get off the streets. So the Clean Start program, I have not really taken a complete grip of that, but they've had me going really into, like, we run 24-hour shelters. I don't know if you're familiar, but we have the women's shelter, we have the family shelter, and then during the really, really cold winter days, we warm those warming shelters. Yeah. So I'm all over the place. So we would be we would be up to like 3, 4 in the morning, just helping people.
Oh, wow.
And so, but the good thing about giving people that Clean Start is some of those folks will come and say, hey, what if I want to go back to the workforce? Oh, that's great. We encourage them, then that's a good thing. But do you have an ID? Oh, no.
No ID, yeah.
Or sometimes because they fear, or because of in the past experiences, I've lost my privileges to drive, but hey, you can get a state ID.
Right. You don't have to have a driver's license. You can get a state ID. Yeah.
Exactly. So with that state ID, you can be identified. You can have a job. You can go to a housing opportunity, and those kind of things. So majority of the folks that we deal with, that I deal with personally, and drug, alcohol use, and also some of them are really, really embedded in that to get out is really hard for them.
Right.
But they are
some of them never will.
Good people to work with. Very good people to work with.
So I saw something about some people who had been or are homeless who were cleaning up trash along the Springwater Corridor Trail. Do you know about that? What that was about? I saw something about that the city was giving some people an opportunity to go and clean up some stuff on the Springwater Corridor Trail, and they would actually get paid something for it. Are you familiar with that program?
No.
Okay, then that must be a different program. The city's doing quite a bit, actually, I think, to work with the homeless community. Yeah. So I know I've checked out the family shelter at 162nd or something.
Yeah, they are right there,
So-
160
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Start.
Yeah, the old woodshed restaurant, and then
Yep.
the vegan strip club. Yes,
Yep.
It's so much better as a homeless shelter, family shelter, but it's very crowded. It's very crowded.
Very, yeah. And people come and go, you know.
Yeah. It's not a permanent place.
Yeah,
It's a
kind of transitional.
right. Now you said there's a women's shelter also.
Yes.
And is that one? I'm not sure if
It's not far from the family. Actually, just a walking distance.
Oh,
Actually,
really?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And that's not my father's house.
they we'll call it the women's shelter. It is, and a lot of various things happen. You know, women will get there for safety. Number one, some of it because of a lot of domestic violence or
Right,
something in their past. So they kind of keep that classified. You know.
Okay, they don't want people to know where that is. Yeah, that makes sense.
Giving that
for
to
their
the police
safety.
and then
yeah,
things
for their
like that,
safety.
yeah, so.
Sure. So.
But it's not far from the family shelter. Actually, just walking distance.
Okay.
You
Well,
can
that's
just
good.
walk,
That's
yeah.
good. So what can people like me do if we want to help out the homeless in this community? What do you see people that are standing on the street asking for money,
Right.
and people are always of mixed feelings about how to deal with that. Do I give them money, or is that just enabling something like the drug and alcohol use? You don't know. You don't know when somebody's asking for money. Is it a good idea to give it, or should I just instead give my money to a nonprofit who's going to support those people? I don't know if you have an answer for that, but it's hard to know how you can be of a help.
Exactly. It's really, really tough to know.
Yeah.
I met a gentleman yesterday, and he told me, well, Aaron, my family and I were we're just going to the dollar store. We wanted to get something for my little son who was going to a game that he had. And I saw this one lady standing right in the gateway of the dollar store. And she said to me, when you get in there and coming back out, would you please give me some gloves? And he said, gloves? What was she talking about? And it's not cold anymore. It's not just yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And so he was thinking, oh, maybe she's finding a strategy where if I give her the gloves, she can go and exchange, take them right back in there
give the money.
and get the money now.
Yeah.
And then his wife said, well, just get him the glove. Maybe get her the glove. Maybe she really needs them. Anyway, so he goes in, brings the gloves. I handed the pair of gloves to her, and right there he said she ripped the thing off, put them on her hands, and was thankful. So sometimes it's really...
They really wanted the gloves.
Yeah.
They really wanted the gloves,
Yeah. And so I've had those moments too where, do I give them the money or should I give them the food? Hey, I'm going for lunch. I can buy you a lunch.
Right.
Or hey, I'm going for, I can give you a ticket if you wanted to come in, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to know because you want to help, but then you want to make sure that you really are helping.
True, very true.
It's a difficult thing. I know I've had offered food to somebody who said, no, I don't want that.
Yep.
I don't,
And they want the money.
Yeah, they wanted the money, and so it's like, okay, you're not really hungry then, but it wasn't my cooking, so. But yeah, it's hard to know how to do that. So is there anything that we as citizens can do? What would you recommend? I mean, are there ways to help out, opportunities to volunteer at homeless shelters around the town and that kind of thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. And we take volunteers from everywhere, especially when the weather were cold during those winter. It's been pretty cold. This year, I guess they said. People volunteer, a couple hours here and there, and sometimes just that awareness, because again, lots of these folks still do not know that this position even exists, that we can help. We can help them with ID cards and driver's licenses if they qualify, birth certificates if they need one.
So birth certificates too, which those those can be kind of a pain to try to get.
Yes.
I mean, I've lost a birth certificate before, and then just trying to get another one was it can be a hassle, and especially if you don't have a phone or you don't have a computer that you can go on to find out, Google it and find out where to go.
Right.
It's nice to have somebody there that they can call to do that. So when are you available? Are you available like Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday. Usually my work hours is like 10 hours a day. So I work
Monday through Friday?
I work Monday through Thursday. So Friday's kind of open. So most Friday
I bet you do a lot of working on Friday.
Oh yeah, well especially when it's cold, I'm out.
I bet. Okay, so if we happen to meet somebody, if I meet somebody who is in that situation that maybe needs ID or something like that, I could refer them to your office and say, call Aaron. He can
most
help you
definitely,
out.
most definitely.
What else do we need to know about what the city's doing about the homeless situation? Is there anything else we should know?
One of the good things that and I think it's already out there, but one of the good things I've noticed since I'm new into the area, that there's this high number of people that used to go every time the city council met for their meetings, they would go in there, like standing right into the foyer, screaming and shouting.
Well, it sounds like Portland City Councils.
Exactly. And all of that sort of died away now, you know.
Why do you think?
Because their issues are being addressed. You know, people.
They're being heard? They've
yes,
been heard?
you know, you have someone who is really dedicated to going and really listening to these people.
Wow.
And interacting. Like some of the photos I wanted to send that quite didn't make it here is basically me in those shelters. I go to a place called Zero Path. They got like a kitchen place.
Yeah, right.
You know, they go over there, they
Zero
meet
Path
there
Ministries,
for lunches and all.
Yeah.
And they go over. So I will go out there, make myself available, listen to them. Hey, what do you need today? You know, just kind of interact. So that way they know that, oh, somebody from the city actually cares. The city is doing something.
You know, and sometimes that's all people need is just somebody to hear them. I mean, you're obviously working on the problems, but you're listening to them. We're out of time, and I really appreciate you being here, Aaron. And I appreciate the work that you're doing, and I'm sure the rest of the community does too. So keep it up.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And thanks for watching Community Hotline. This is it's been interesting subjects tonight. We've talked a lot about homelessness and other issues that are important. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and come back next week. We'll be here at the same time. Good night.
Thank you.
Hotline is made possible with generous support by the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission. The Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission advocates on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels.
MetroEast would like to dedicate tonight's program to the memory of Martin Stosur. Martin volunteered countless hours of his time, energy, and passion in support of community media. He was a consistent volunteer on the Community Hotline crew for over a dozen years and a friend to all who knew him. We'll miss you, Martin.
What local community media is to us is literally our lifeline to what's going on in the lives around us.
The absolute most important thing that happens in your neighborhood.
People's local communities are usually what's most important to them.
Because we're the faces, the smiles, the peoples, and the personalities of the community.
To not only give people a voice, but to have their voice heard.
The Rosewood Initiative is a nonprofit community center located on 162nd and Stark. We're focused on serving, building, and connecting the community to resources that will better their lives. Rosewood is so much more than a building. We're a community.